Hello, welcome. This is the Blondie Talks Crypto YouTube channel, and right now there is with me Theo, and I will be the interview partner of a master thesis of him. I wrote my master thesis about 2020 about cryptocurrencies, and I would love to help for newbies and from researchers and also people who are writing their thesis about cryptocurrencies. So let's move. Take your time.
Thank you so much for having me here. I'm very happy to talk to you. What was your master thesis about?
My thesis was about, actually the title of the thesis was How Will Cryptocurrencies Reshape the Future of Everyday Payments in Developing Countries?
Okay.
I also wrote a book about it, so I reformed it for a book, and additionally it was about Zimbabwe and Venezuela. And as El Salvador just started to accepting cryptocurrencies, I just made from that a book, and there are also additionally El Salvador included in this book. You can find it on the Amazon.
Perfect. Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I mean, for me it was, I think I really like to understand how disruption could work. And I find the topic very interesting, and the technology itself also very interesting. And the idea with the thesis is a bit to understand how the current governments and the current system in our Western worlds will interact with these new phenomenon, and what changes it will bring. And the thing I ask myself, I mean, we all know the basic of cryptocurrencies and blockchains. How will Western governments react, and what are ways that they could control this whole phenomenon, or they could shape this whole phenomenon in a direction that is beneficial for them? So that's basically the whole idea behind my thesis. And then, of course, taxation and money laundering are two important things, maybe even the most important things for governments, because that's basically how they function. That's how they get their money. And with the introduction of cryptocurrencies and blockchain, especially if the adoption is so big, this is in huge danger, because they can barely control it. I mean, we can talk in a second about how they can control it, but it is interesting.
When I started cryptocurrencies, I started with cryptocurrencies in 2017, so a few years back. It was hard to understand them those times because there was not as much literature as right nowadays. You, as a newbie and someone who researched this topic, you are right now well funded with information, but for sure, from the legal aspect, it is something what is not 100% determined and definite what we want to do. And for sure, when something what is money, and the entire economy works with money, and for sure there are transactions which need to be somehow regulated and somehow taxed, it is a highly complicated task to solve with. Crypto is something from one way what is reformation, some unique thing when we talk about money, because cryptocurrency is not only money, it is also technology, and blockchain behind it. Now we are going to Web3, and we are talking about NFTs. The musicians, the artists, and everybody in the entertainment industry just want to develop their portfolio, let's say, that what they're offering, and they offer like utilities right now with NFTs. And this is also the part of the cryptocurrency past, and not only the money part. So it is a highly complex topic when we're talking about taxation and the AML also. For sure, because there are the biggest asset for money laundering in the current stand is like, the US dollar. It is not something what I say, it is what statistically states, because, they regulate these kind of real and normal fiat money also, for sure. But there are a lot of, let's say, black money on this money market, what works there.
Black market,
Exactly. And I was like on a blockchain day few months before, and for sure in the cryptocurrency market are also things what could seen as part of the not, let's say that really in the gray market scale, let's say that, for sure. And these things like I couldn't believe, let's say, that there's an NFT and it is like a rock and it costs $1 million. For sure, it is something what seems insane from one side, but from the other side, we should not forget about that fact. There are a tremendous amount of people who get rich through cryptocurrencies during the last years, and it could happen that it's not exactly something what is a great thing. So it is really hard to understand and measure these things from the real perspective from the government, and the government don't accept, let's say, that open borders what cryptocurrencies are in general. For sure, Bitcoin is something what couldn't be destroyed in the current stand. There are things what could hinder the adaptation, for sure. There are regulatory aspects what are here and which will come actually not only to the Western culture. For sure, there are some countries which are more, they accepting more cryptocurrencies than other countries. It is based maybe on the mentality also. What are they co-regulatory? How strict are they in general with their regulatory? Do they want to become a tax paradise also? Because there are like countries who say highly welcome. Let's say North Cyprus. North Cyprus is one country where people can just go and make an offshore company and having in a very competitive way cryptocurrencies as part of their business. There is Estonia. In Portugal, people could have more advantage than in additional or another countries in Europe, let's say that. For sure, in the US, we know that there are a lot of restrictions for individuals, but it is, it is something what couldn't be, let's say that, forbidden for people, because you can just buy your MetaMask, you can trade people to people, and you are already in the currency world. So there are always, let's say, little doors in this cryptocurrency place. If somebody wants to come into cryptocurrency space, it is not a hard task nowadays. Crypto is really for the money for the people, and since back in 2017, when literally nothing was regulated, there was like only some exchanges, some crypto companies, and also some crypto projects, because there was like maybe 2,000 crypto projects since then. And right now, if you go on the coinmarketcap.com, there are like 20,000 cryptocurrency projects. Is like a huge and drastic increase in the crypto projects in general. And for sure, the government just opened the eyes of what the hell is happening here and why it looks like that, and what is here, the why behind that, and why people, especially young people, try to transfer the money industry. For sure, from one side, the blockchain technology is good for banks, because they can change the entire system in the background and saving like millions of dollars, of euros from one side. And this could be for sure made in the background for them without altering anything in the monetary policy or what they are doing behind their things. And for sure, it is a hard transformation, because it is something what is innovative, let's say that. And innovation is always comes with some benefits and some negative points also.
Downside, yeah.
There are a lot of issues from the government part, because the government wants just to take control over it. And cryptocurrency is not really the field in the current stand what could be take control over. For sure, exchanges could be regulated, but let's say decentralized applications are no go for them on another place in the current stand where they just could reach. And this was the core idea between Satoshi's idea since back 2009 to 10, when he just disappeared from the world. And actually, this is like a movement what's happening right now in general, a financial movement. And when we take a look back to the last few years, let's say the corona time or the pandemic period, we can also realize that a lot of people just went to cryptocurrencies because they realized that they just lost from one to the next day their income potential, and they wanted to figure out something that is more innovative. And this is the place where there are significant and linear growth in the number of cryptocurrency users and wallet. we can prognose how many cryptocurrency users are worldwide, but we can't say an exact numbers, because one individual can have like 10 wallets without any issue and problem. It is something what is totally free. You need only a mobile phone to having cryptocurrencies, and you can transfer money between people to people. You don't have to necessarily to cash out also from crypto. So it's like something what is like a black box for the governments, and that's what's make them the huge issue. Money in general is only something in what people believe. If there is a belief behind something and people accept them globally, let's say that. I was like in a holiday and someone said for me, they accept Luna or some other cryptocurrencies. Okay, since back the crash of Luna, but it could happen between people, and people working like that, they find a way. The government for sure want to find a way also for the taxation. And this is like a huge interest conflict in the current environment between the humanity and the people and the governments. The humanity feels like, as I see some rebel, and from the government side, government doesn't like as much rebel as people do or the young generation do right now. For sure, to a higher adaptation and a worldwide acceptance, there needs some regulatory aspects. And I already know a few years back that these things that are coming right now will come. And I realized that this will come. For sure, I'm not a tailor, and I couldn't say that in which form these things will come there and which country how will react on cryptocurrencies. But it is a huge step that there are like countries who accepting cryptocurrencies as an official payment method. For sure, these countries accept it like for supporting themselves, because if you take the look at the inflation, the countries which are more, let's say, not so advantageous situation than other countries will quicker react on cryptocurrencies, because it's a method to protect their inhabitants also. If I take a look on Venezuela, they have a money there for sure, the bolivar, but to having a money in a country doesn't mean something is valuable and worthful and people can use it, because there was like a situation, they have like 20% of inflation during 1 year, and this is a crazy amount, and the inhabitants had real life issues. What is real life issues? Not like here in the European area. So they have like hunger, huge corruption. They had the biggest corruption those times, and they couldn't buy for their hard-earned money like a hot dog, really. So if you go on the Google and you type the Venezuela money, and you will see like photos. One side is like a toilet paper, let's reflect on Corona, and that is a ton of paper money. And this is a huge issue, and why these people want to accept easier cryptocurrencies than we here in the Western Europe.
Definitely. And it's also that the system right now relies so much on European or for example, the US. I mean, they basically introduced the current system, and the US dollar is the main currency still, which is a huge disadvantage for all these smaller nations, especially when they're under sanctions, like, for example, Venezuela.
The real problem based on the inflation started since back the gold standard. Nixon in 1971 just changed the standard, and actually allowing to printing as much money as it's currently possible was not maybe for the world economy the best solution. For sure, we can find arguments why it is better. And for sure, there are like measurements, like an economist, you can measure that the transaction is one thing where you can grow the productivity, the money, what is in the system, and the growth in general. But if there are no transactions, you need for sure credit. The most money what exists in this world is actually not money, but credit, and debt. And this is here a huge economical issue, because we're living from the money what we didn't earn yet, let's say that. And this is like a huge and complex system if we are talking about the monetary politic. I'm learned by myself finance, and I understand the course here and the core measurement for sure. I understand also crypto and the measurement. And I do believe Bitcoin was not just a revolution. what here happened, but it expressed that people want a huge and significant change. For sure, this one will be somehow reacted on the government levels. And I'm just reflecting on the country where I was born, Hungary. They just started accepting the cryptocurrency regulatory in 2022 January. So they officially accepting cryptocurrencies as a part of a person's portfolio, and you have there the tax already. So it is like a correct taxation that was issued. And every country should come over and figuring out methods to forbidding cryptocurrencies. I do believe neither for the country nor the inhabitants is something what is beneficial. Because if a country, forbid, make a forbid, or let's say a restrict that the inhabitants can do that, they will do that without their permission also, because there are ways to make it. Let's take the example right now for China. If you see the Bitcoin mining rate, still a huge amount of that coming from China, even it is banned there. It is something what is a fact and we can neglect. For sure, there was like mining farms, we just moved in some countries where the electricity is more favorable and affordable, but it doesn't mean that disappeared because it couldn't be proved also. It is a complex thing to figuring out where are mining rigs, and literally I can just download the software on my laptop and that's all, and I'm already a miner. So it is an easy thing nowadays, and you can make it on your phone also. It's not a big deal today. And that's what the government don't realize. If they ban it, it doesn't mean that they forbid it. Maybe they eliminate that it will so quickly adapted, but it doesn't mean that they can stop it. And this is the core point I think every government should understand and consider how they can make it beneficial. For sure, there are some measurements to measure the tax, but it is a highly complex thing because it isn't like a parallel universe in general. If you're talking about cryptocurrencies, individuals have thousands of transactions there. There are like new projects always. We invest in new project, and there are a lot of people who think like a hodler, who just keep cryptocurrencies for a long time period. They not even care about cashing out or coming in the real fiat system back. This is also a very important factor in how we look like our economy in general. In 20 years, do we have at all then some regular fiat currency, or fiat currencies will disappear at all? And we should finding out and figuring on some kind of different taxation. This could be also considered, because prognosing the future is a very hard thing, even on some part of the life. But this is a highly complex thing, that it is like about the entire economy and what is based on what is money. And yes, there are like politicians, there are like leaders who are strictly against cryptocurrencies. There are like bad news, but as we see how cryptocurrency market growing and how many individuals are coming there, it's not something what could be stopped. Yes, we can wake up one day and everybody could say that cryptocurrency is not something what we accept anymore. But until two people between each other accept one cryptocurrency as a payment methodology, it's a money, and it should be somehow for sure regulated. But in the crypto world, to regulating money, the governments don't have the hand for that.
Okay. I thank you so much. I send you the questions.
Yes, let's go through.
Regarding the, especially, I can send it in the chat. What do you think is the biggest challenge for governments regarding money laundering and taxations? Wait, I send it in the chat.
I think that one of the biggest issue of them, that they don't have the well-educated staff who highly understand cryptocurrencies, and they don't have the people who understand how to fix the cryptocurrency market. If you want to regulate something, you need to understand that deeply, and you need to have there the specialists. This is something what I think is in the current stand is like a profession what is still not exist, and there should be like people who understand how cryptocurrency market ticks, and this should be let's say explained for them also, because as it is a parallel universe, you can't regulate it as the normal assets in the normal financial market.
Exactly.
And I think this is a key issue there.
You can only regulate the bridges between current environment and cryptocurrencies. One thing that I find very, very interesting. I mean, right here, most of people say that it's anonymous, so that transactions can't be traced. I mean, it is anonymous until you understand which address is, or which person is behind which address.
Exactly. I can have like,
so that's a way to control it as well.
I can have by myself 100 MetaMask. I can send between myself also transactions. So it is a hard and complex thing, and it is like a data science right now. To adding to one person a cryptocurrency wallet, yes, you are anonymous since you don't want to share your identity, but it doesn't mean that they can reach out, which is my exact address, and on that address, what kind of money do I keep? Or I become, let's say, millionaire through a project, what I use one individual MetaMask. This could also happen, but I can also say, listen, it's not my MetaMask. You know.
That's true. That's true. I mean, one proposes then to personalize every address and ban transactions from not personalized addresses. So this would then mean if you make a lot of money and some non-personalized account, you either have then to pay taxes, or we have two worlds basically. We have on the one side all the personalized wallets, and if you pay, for example, in a shop, it is personalized. And then you have the second world, probably we talked about it, third world countries that use the technology and that accept this loss of control in the first place. And all the people from the Western world who don't have personalized wallets as well would then only be able to interact with this part of the world. I mean, this is one vision that I find very interesting, but also quite concerning, to be honest.
I do believe technologically it is not something what is possible to make. There are like, you know, a lot of wallets which are like, okay, they can maybe make some improvements, but I do believe this is not something what will happening, and for sure, because there are like all the ways of, you know, cryptocurrency transactions, this couldn't be happen. So the technology is not at that level in the current stand. So it is a nice idea to make like a, you know, I'm the pink and I'm the red one team, but it won't happening.
I mean, this will happen. This would happen probably through the introduction of a government-issued blockchain, and this would then only happen probably for transactions in shop or something. Let's say, I don't know, I go to Hungary, I want to buy something, and then they check, okay, this address belongs to, or is personalized, okay, we accept it, or this address is not personalized, no, we can't accept this money because it's illegal, basically.
Yes, but you know, it is like a data bank where everybody should be in, and to moving so many people in this area is challenging. So it should be solved, let's say, on the applications, on the it's not about the regulatory, it is more about the applications part. And you can have something like that, let's say, on the KYC validated accounts. I could imagine something like that crypto.com card maybe can issue, or some big entities are ready for that, what you explain here, but not the little ones. And as you know, we have right now, if you're just talking about the exchanges, we have like over 500 exchanges, so it have fun. I could say that.
Definitely. I mean, this will be a war. This will be a regulatory war if this happens. Maybe one question: what's your vision for cryptocurrency in the Western world? I mean, we talked a little bit about these third world countries, and the application of technology is super beneficial for them because these structures are not there, and a lot of people don't have bank accounts in current structures. But how do you think like Western governments will react to this? And
for the developing countries, the affordability and the accessibility of the banking system is one key measurement why they love to use cryptocurrencies, because it's easy. They have their mobiles and that's all. And from the other side, if we're talking about Western culture, we see it in the current stand more as some investment and something from what we can get rich, we can earn money, we can have our savings, and something where we see the possibility to just break out. I see that in a lot of people want to save money for sure. In developing countries are also poverty, so poverty exists there also, but in developed countries poverty exists also. A lot of people want to become rich overnight for sure, and I realize this mentality also in the developed countries for sure. So mostly for saving methods, mostly trying the luck, let's say that. And for sure, there are some core people who are since years in the cryptocurrency space, and they understood that we don't have to play with this money just to hold it and keep through and figuring out the best coins in a personal portfolio. I'm by myself also a teacher, so I teach cryptocurrencies for individuals and have to, could they understand this entire economy like a teacher? I teach them. I don't give financial advice in any form. I just help people to understand that, because it is a core thing to understand, and then you can become a good investor if you are the one who understands every process behind that. So it is a hard thing to figuring out. Most of the people want to get rich for sure. They looking for an additional solution. People who turn from the normal monetary policy, they love it a lot actually. People who want to really think about their children. I see a lot of men, especially in their 40s, want to understand cryptocurrencies. Mostly males are as individual more interested in cryptocurrencies, because women are, statistically said, if I'm talking about Austria, let's say that, and from the German region, the investor number for the females is like something around 20 to 30% in this Western culture, and the rest is from male individuals. So it means statistically, I don't know, because I didn't prove it if this statistic is right or not, because I'm a female and I'm highly interested in cryptocurrencies. There are some female individuals also who want to, just from personal purposes, they want to have a better family situation. They want to buy their home. There are like real and normal things in the most of the cases. And from anti-money laundering, just a little percentage of the market stays from those part that really should concentrate on that drug and those kind of stuff. What is not fair. But in general, people want to use cryptocurrencies for normal purposes and to gain money.
Yeah, definitely. And how will you think we will see the adoption, so that I can pay with cryptocurrencies in a shop in Germany, or for example, or?
Let's say that there are already corporations. I see that many cryptocurrencies trying to solve the real life sales also, and there are a lot of NFTs right now. If you take a look on the NFT, that this is about sale in the moment, and Web2 companies want to transfer them to Web3 companies for sure, because they see the monetary, let's say, benefit for cryptocurrencies, and for sure there will be more adaptations, and for sure there are like visionaries like me and people who want to use it also and not just keep that money. I think for the long-term investors in Europe, it is hard to spend this money, because normally you say that cryptocurrency is the money what you can afford to lose, and not the money what you spend in general. But everybody thinks a little bit different about cryptocurrency, and this is also an additional factor that makes it harder to understand and fully get the point about that,
Okay. Well, maybe one more personal question.
Yes.
What's your greatest need in terms of taxation and money laundering for you personally, as an investor, as a trader, as an educator?
I'm in a very lucky situation, because in the current stand, I'm thinking only as a hodler. So I don't spend this money at all. And that's the reason why I don't care in the current stand related the taxation, because I didn't want to cash out. I want to get more cryptocurrency and earn in my personal portfolio. I'm not living in this from this money, because I look on this only as on an investment in the current stand, because I see highly that the technology will grow, and probably in this moment I will think about that, but I don't think about that how could I take it better in the current stand, because I'm not the target group for that who want to cash out.
Okay, and future-wise, what do you think? Like, should there be capital gain tax on cryptocurrencies?
So officially, I'm in Austria and I'm in a favorable position, because in the current stand, if you keep a cryptocurrency in Austria for more than 1 year, also it's the same as I know in Germany, then you don't have their tax. So I'm in a favorable position, but for sure, taxation can change in every single minute.
And what do you think is a fair stand? If you look at it neutral now, not from your personal point of view, if you look at it from a neutral perspective, in the way that if we accept it as a currency, I mean, I can make money, for example, if I buy US dollars and then sell it tomorrow back to euros, but that is not taxed. What do you think is a fair way? Should we see it as currency? Should we see it as an asset? Where's the distinction between currencies there? Should we look at the utility of the token and say, okay, for example, Bitcoin is asset focused, while, I don't know, Ripple is more of a payment and therefore it's different?
It is hard to define, because everybody thinks a little bit different. From my perspective, I would say, because it couldn't be forbidden at all, I would say it would be better for the entire economy if we let this money without tax. The reason is clear why I'm saying that. If you let it tax-free, people will be more open to cash out from cryptocurrencies. A lot of person don't want to cash out, reason for the tax. But if you are allowed to cash out, you will spend this money. It means already that you are ready to spend, you know. You don't cash out without any reason about from cryptocurrencies. You want to buy a house, and then from this amount of money, the government will get the taxation in the real life solutions. If you go in a shop and you buy, you know, your bread from cryptocurrency, you will pay there the tax for sure. I know it is hard what I'm saying, and not everybody will understand or accept my perspective, but I think way more will be the individuals who want to cash out if this will be allowed, and these nations will be in a competitive advantage in the long term who allow that form of using of cryptocurrencies than the ones who forbid it or put their high tax amount, because people will then go to a people-to-people transfer and they just transfer the money if they want to cash out a huge amount. This is a true story really in the cryptocurrency world. They will find themselves somebody who in a local place give them like dollar, euro, or let's say any kind of currency, and they transfer it on their account, and that's all. So they will solve it if they want to cash out this or that way.
Yeah, the bridges. I mean, if that already happens with money laundering as well. That just that's an interesting topic. One more thing. How do you think self-governance, so self-regulation of the crypto universe, will affect cryptocurrencies regarding taxation and money laundering? So what do you think is the overall community standpoint? Do you think people will interact? I mean, we have that problem already or we have the issue already that addresses that we're doing bad things like scams or something are blocked, especially with NFTs. What's your opinion on this? How do you think this whole environment will react to negative behavior? Is there a negative behavior? Is there a moral as well?
You know, negative behavior is a human behavior and not a specific behavior for cryptocurrencies. This is something but everybody forget about just easily
Mm-hmm.
forgettable.
Totally agree.
You
Yeah,
know,
totally
I'm writing currently the biggest book in Hungary about cryptocurrencies, and you know, I'm writing on my native tongue right now because there are not as much literature as in English, and I want to spread here also the word about cryptocurrencies and show people on a transparent way cryptocurrencies, how they can grow their mindset about cryptocurrencies. The more important to understand, you know, there are like people who just knocking on elderly people's door and they sell for them overpriced massage products and real things. These are fakes, and this is what is forbidden for sure. These people, this behavior should be forbidden and somehow restricted. This is not about cryptocurrency. This is about the human behavior. So for sure, there should be figured out some regulations, but it's not about crypto. It's about somebody who want on a not correct way earning money from someone else. This is something different, and this should be understood on the level of government, that this is not the issue of cryptocurrencies. This is the issue of the lack of the correct human behavior.
The question I had, with the central authority missing in cryptocurrencies, what do you think will develop regarding protection of people? I mean, I could think of a scenario, for example, let's say we stay in this elderly people getting ripped off at their door. When there's no central authority, people would organize themselves probably. So in which way do you think this will happen in the crypto environment, and especially regarding money laundering, taxations? What do you think will happen there?
In general, it's said from 10 crypto projects, 8 will going to, let's say, down and will never really happening. From this 8, for sure, not all actually, a crypto project behind that don't stay a team, behind that really there is no power to make that. There are just sometimes, you know, in the real life, there are also companies which are just trying their luck, and then they, you know, just nothing happened at the end effect, because you know there is like a lack of real leadership, or there is a lack of money, there is a lack of the real resources, there is a communication issue, or many things could happen also. This happening here also in the crypto industry, but for sure there are also additionally scams in the crypto, and these are the real issue, these scams here, and this should be somehow solved from this scam aspect. It is hard to define what is a scam and what is not a scam, for sure, because you know, if you are someone in the crypto and you analyze a project, you say, I have a red flag. I don't like that project at all, because this project seems like, you know, so scammy from me. But on the other side, people love it and the community love it. In crypto, there is a huge, you know, let's say, place for scams. That's true. I can't say that it's not existing, because it is here. And it's not about that. It is more about the educational part. People could be protected if they are well educated. Crypto will be there, but it means that it should be something what is a part of the informatics studies, maybe in the elementary school already. What is cryptocurrency? What is that? Where we can buy cryptocurrencies? We should take it from the different aspects. In general, people need to be educated. When I was like 18 years old or something like that, around the age, I had an issue because I went home by car and there was a man standing next to his car. I thought he has some issues there, and I just stopped because I was nice and I wanted to help, because I realized that he's not belonging there. You know, he was some foreigner and I speak that time some English. And he mentioned me that he has a ring, which is just a gold ring, and I should give him some money because he has no money to doing tanking and put fuel in the car. And I believe that it is a real goal, and I said I gave him some money, and I thought we made a win-win situation. But at the end, I figured out a little bit later that it was some scam and some scammy project, and these kind of scams and scammy projects existing in the crypto also, that we can't realize in advance. And this was not the issue of the men. I'm sorry to saying that for myself and my old myself, let's say that it was my issue, because I had no idea those times what is gold actually, and how gold look like, or how it feel to touch, what emblem should I search on that ring that I can figure out this is a real gold ring or not a real gold ring, you know. And that is the issue of the education. If I would be those times educated based on that easy life example when I got scammed, then I would be able to realize that it is a scam, because I didn't learn about them. I take the shorter, let's say that. And if I would be able to decide that even in the crypto that this project is a scam, then I won't invest. I started to being an investor in 2017, and for sure those times I had also the lack of picking the project and the methodology. Sometimes I had those times only luck, and for sure those times were not as much projects as right now what I mentioned, and this was some fair thing and some cool thing, because I had less possibility to get scammed than nowadays. And right now, if you connect your site on a fake with your MetaMask on a site which is a fake site and seems almost like, you know, pancake swap or something like that, or some farming sites, then you lose your money for sure. And this is in the most of the case of the poor education about cryptocurrencies. There should be more focus about education, and there will be then less scams, because people will realize that. It is the same with MLMs, you know. Sometimes you realize that MLM system is bad or not bad, and if you are, you know, trained with those kind of things, you will realize easier what is not good for you. So it is more for the personal focus of the education for sure. And it was the same what I figured out in 2020 when I made my thesis, and it won't be changed. There are a lot of people who educate and train people, but I don't like that scammy mentality on the YouTube that every YouTuber just trusts, buy this coin and you will get, you know, 100K, X, 10X, 20X. It is not fair, because it's not always happening, especially not on the bear market. And people need to understand investment psychology. If you don't invest, what are you doing at the end of it? Nothing. It is some place like the investment. Normal people want to invest and become a pro in the cryptocurrency space, even they not even tried out the real stock market. And this is a huge thing, that people coming here and they thought they can do everything and manage everything. No, here is a huge amount of self-responsibility, and it shouldn't be overestimated from the individual. So if someone wants to start, I highly recommend first study, and good possibilities are appearing always.
I agree. Okay, interesting. Yeah. Okay. I think then we're almost done with my questions. I don't know if you have any aspect you want to talk about as well. Do you have one?
I think one thing what would be very interesting for you based on your thesis, what will happening maybe in 50 years? Because, you know, in 50 years, there will come, you know, like an inheritance session in the cryptocurrency place. Most of us who started cryptocurrencies are between the age group from, let's say, from 18 to 40. And these people want to give over the cryptocurrencies for the next generation, or maybe not. This is some point what should be cool to have on the regulatory part and somehow fixed maybe, because this will be very interesting to research or also move with that part. Do you have any ideas, or already did you figure out something from your thesis on what is your key issue?
I did not focus on this so much, but I think one big problem is, for example, then the private keys and no central authority. I mean, I don't know, the PIN numbers, for example, for the bank account of my grandma, they're maybe in some book hidden that I don't know about or something, or maybe she gave it beforehand. But if she dies, I go to the bank and say, okay, yeah, my grandma died. What about her money now? But with no central authority there, we have a huge issue. So I think only education, at least right now, is the only option. So you need to say, okay, if something happens to me, here are my keys to my wallet, because otherwise we all read the stories of,
exactly. Yeah,
we all read the stories of people who forget their keys, and you have 200 million on your hard drive, but you can't access it.
That's crypto, yes. It's happened numerous times during the cryptocurrency, let's say, short history, that those kind of accounts are just not accessible. For sure, it's an interesting thing. And I think a lot of individuals who started, it early, learn from their past mistakes, because as I see, a lot of people from those times back to 2000 until 2015, let's say, that they went to these MTGOX crises and bankruptcy and those kind of things, and they lost their private case. They didn't care attention where they keep the private case. And these early adapters, for sure, they lost a tremendous of money based on their human behavior. But it doesn't mean that new ones don't have to learn about their past mistakes. Always the wise, learn from other people's mistakes. And this is the best methodology what could be implemented here. And for sure, the personal security is before you start with cryptocurrencies and you realize you need a new email address, VPN, you need, strong password, two-factor authentication, maybe a ledger if you want to invest more money, but it's not a necessary. Keep not only in one place your cryptocurrencies. These could be learned instantly in a day. It's not a hard thing to understand, but nobody care about it when it starts because they don't get the point. If somebody understands it, it will be easier, the crypto path.
I totally agree. Okay, I mean, that's from my side. I think I will have one more interview maybe. I need to write my thesis down, just I have all the research done basically. So just combine it into one nice thing. That's the main thing now. Yeah, and I will send you my thesis as well.
Thank you, I'm happy. I appreciate that.
But I need still writing, so I need some more time.
Okay, if you need any kind of assistance, I can just check it. I help for a lot of students already with their thesis. I just had last, I think 2 weeks before, one with sport and sport topics, how NFTs and crypto will change the sport and NFTs and those kind of things.
Okay, thank you so much. Maybe I will let you know if I need your help. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Okay, so then I see myself on YouTube.
Yes, you will if you want. If not, tell me today.
No, that's fine. Thank you so much.
I hope.
Okay. Then have a nice day. Thank you so much for your time. And yeah, one day we will speak to each other again, I'm pretty sure.
Yes, keep me updated your path.
I will. I mean, we're connected. Bye.